Welcome. I just made this image. I noticed. So I was looking at. I talked about this place already, but I'm gonna talk about it some more. Where is it? There it is. Petra Jordan. Okay, there it is. This image. So I was looking at this one, and I noticed it went back this way, seemingly back this way. And it generally points somewhat in like where this meets the ground around that region, almost like it's flowing out from it this way, coming in through here and then flowing, like carving out material and then carving a channel that probably isn't just, it's not just like this way, it's actually spiraling with a chakra here, like like an ammonite chakra like this. Let's get a decent one. I guess I could have picked the one I moused over. Now none of them really have it. I guess that's fine, whatever. Chakra like this, that then has a base like out this way. So it has a chakra and it goes out, and then it basically goes along a region. And this is much straighter, but then it has like a base going down this way. So I'm thinking this is kind of like a bottom structure that's forming from this. This goes down, forms this structure that's like basically a parallel spiral that creates a chakra with probably with a cross current that's flowing generally down this carving this way. So this is where, let's just open another one so I don't close this image. This is why I was like, I guess I can hit record because this is actually pretty interesting what I noticed. Okay, so let's see if I can find this. I think it's in this region. I want to say it might, no. Down here, here it is. I believe it's right here. So notable, I was thinking, you know, it'd be really nice if like I see there's some kind of interaction this way, seemingly to the top here. And if it's a flow going downward, that's kind of interesting, and I wonder what's going on above. It would be nice to like see up here. I don't know if there's an easy, I don't know if I can find that image. So I resorted to figuring, well, let's see. I think it's here. I don't want to be looking at the wrong place. It doesn't really matter because it all looks pretty much the same, just kind of fractally. And with like variation, like this one's wider, these are more pointy maybe. But generally it's in this region, so it looks kind of like something like what's going on here is kind of was what I was thinking, like why is this happening? Like, this thing, like what's going on here? Why is this happening? So I zoomed out some. I'm like, well, this is interesting. I don't know what to make of it. Look around here. It's kind of straight and long, so, like, how straight and long is it? Then I start looking, and it's like, well, it actually is from pretty much water to water. It's almost like two big chakras that are held together energetically. Like it could have opened fully, but it didn't because the bodies of land are energetically connected, like especially through this region, is what remains of the connection. Like it got broken through here, somewhat broken through here, but like a neck, a spine, from the current flows that were flowing this way generally across here, like creating the Mediterranean, cutting like through the continents, literally just cutting, well, the single continent into 7 continents, but like also somewhat cutting and making like nodes visible. So it's interestingly at this node thing, which kind of suggests like it reminds me, another node, here's another node, a good node here. This is clear chakras, even with like the shape of the shallogram, and it's like it blew. Like it could have been closed up here and it just opened. But so for this to happen, it would have had to literally swirl, like energy flowing this way would have met resistance and built up and literally flowed back and then joined the current back and essentially stabilized into a vortex that shaped the terrain to this degree. So if it's happening there, there's a good chance if it's doing this neck thing that it's having a similar outcome. Like this is literally at the neck of this head at the neck, although it's off to the side, kind of towards the mantle puncture hole though, which is over here. I'm so close to this microphone. Yeah, hello everyone. That kind of gives me that vibe, if you will. So there's probably some kind of current that's physically even flowing in an ammonite, small, bigger. Like that's a common trait. Let's find some more typical ones for there to be a smaller, bigger, and then an even bigger. So that will make like when this formed, it was more like this, and then this side formed like this, and then this side like gets bigger. So they basically switch which if it's bigger or smaller. Here it's doing it as well. So it has this small one, and then it has this big one. But then it's carving this even bigger one over here to back and forth, but then it essentially stabilizes. It only can do so much depending on how much pressure is there, how much current is present. And so at some point, especially because it's literally carving openings out of the stone, it is able to stabilize with the outside of environment enough to just stop carving. So it just leaves things of this nature. Just systematically, although not every time, certainly not every time. This one's real interesting. We can see little, big. I haven't really looked at it in this way. Let's see. Even bigger probably here than this. Even bigger here than this one. And then even bigger here than this one. So it probably is vibrationally doing things of that nature where it's like whenever it goes out of balance, it's kind of like it's spinning, like a spinning top, and then it goes out of balance and starts to wobble and like spews to a side and then goes out of balance the other way to like re-stabilize it, like leans back, and but then it overshoots and spews to another side and just creates this like back and forth of the general direction of propagation. Another one doing the same thing. Small, larger, larger still, larger still. Probably smallest is next, kind of thing. And even smaller, probably. That's just so carved out we can't really see the ones closest to the nucleus. Again, just the same thing. This one shows it a little better. It's maybe in here, small, big, bigger, bigger, biggest. Anyway, point is, small, big, like it's happening here too. So there's some kind of current going. I don't know why it would be relevant to this location. I'm just kind of looking around now. Like it's maybe how it carves it as it comes out. It goes to somewhere where then it ends up flowing atop the resistance or below the resistance, maybe below the resistance. It carves in, but then meets so much resistance that it just went under, but then it carves back up, or I don't know exactly why, or I haven't really thought about how this region came to be, so I'm just kind of spitballing, and that kind of didn't make sense completely. So let's just go back to this location more specifically. So I posted this chakra, and then over here it continues this way. It's kind of like a platform the chakra is on. I mean, it's not bending much like it maybe should. Although I'm thinking about fractally, if it maybe I'm not accounting for enough. I'm just like focused on this one layer, and then seeing it kind of approach over here and like, yeah, maybe it's related to this too. I think there's even an image inside. I don't think it's that color. That'd be crazy. It's like the ceiling, they etched just to that line and just exposed that line. I mean, maybe, I was thinking it was maybe already hollow to a degree. I wonder. It'd be real interesting. But naturally. I don't want to talk about this too much because I already made a video about it. In terms of this location exactly, it is quite incredible. Whoa, way up there. Huh, I don't know what to make of that, because I was thinking, like, genuinely, this, the way this is not everywhere in the region. Like, if this is exposed, like if we notice in like the stairs that are etched out, there's really not. And this in there, there's really not this kind of thing going on, like especially like that. But it is happening up there. That's pretty interesting. If this is coming down, going up, or spiraling this way, if it goes down this way and then ends up producing a spiral that then, like, down here and across almost like a 90-degree angle, and then maybe a 120-degree angle, and just building up angles, because it does kind of look like it's getting wider across this way from like this starting point almost. Although I'm not sure up this way. But I'm just wondering if maybe like energy going this way like ramped up to this point and like a geyser over here almost. That was like a venting location. Almost like a jet stream, like in a cosmic sense, emitted from the pole. Not sure why it'd be that way relative to here. Like maybe this thing. Big ol' chakra blocking current, kind of encouraging it that way. Assuming there's a current coming down here and this is carved already to a degree. I was thinking there's just like a flow down a channel that's literally above, all the way up above. But still down this channel by etching into it. And as it flows, it just applies enough pressure by the sheer bulk of it all that it still behaves as if there's just a wall here. Or there was just material that got etched over time. And then like this current flowed through the region and revealed it. I don't think that's the case though, based on like so many like this nuance. This nuance here strongly suggests a close relationship to simultaneousness of this, and that would mean that like this would have not been like this by a current passing by. Like it wouldn't produce this outcome. This looks like some kind of dripping, like some current that basically was flowing down this way, but protecting, maybe like a waterfall almost down this way, that wasn't necessarily applying a pressure so much to this surface, but just more so applying an outward pressure on the current passing by it to like prevent it from etching in from this, because this really was etching in. So maybe something of that nature, but it was so like continuous in this place because this is like energetically what happens off to a side, like shallograms. Let's find a. So cool. This one's just blowing up to the one side, so it can also just kind of exponentially go one side, I guess. It's a little odd. Definitely not common. There's one. This is generally what happens is it has a chakra type system and then kind of like almost like hole punches of discs that over their size. I think there's one like here that maybe here, I don't, that like they begin to get maybe the same size and then smaller again, larger and then smaller, like it's many circles. I don't know, but there tend to be cross currents like here at the structures of these things. So cool. That one even shows the small large, so it looks kind of weird. You can really see the etching in on this one and just the smoothness. It really shows that Currents did this by how smooth the rock is and how it like clearly went in through a channel that is like depressed in the rock. Trying to find some good cross currents. It kind of needs this structure. The best one is the one that actually shows. I guess this maybe shows, maybe there. Maybe this. I don't know exactly. Now that I've seen this Petra Jordan and consider this like outward pressure protecting it, I don't know. I really need to find that shallogram. Where is it? It's just got a bar inside of it. I should make a most like most used folder and then just put one of each one of those and their number. Maybe this kind of shows a structure here. It's really a structure here that just suggests some kind of aspect of the process that repeats. Here it is. So cool. But I was just thinking maybe like the current wrapping around runs into some kind of boundary that it falls down in front of and like protects the boundary as it builds. If this has any reasonableness, that it's some kind of like protected region because it's just outward. I don't think it's like accreted, if you will, added on. Back to this. What's up? What is up? I don't really know what to make of it, so maybe let's zoom back in. I noticed this is kind of strange. The Dead Sea. Whoa. Holy shit, I just provided some kind of insight into the Dead Sea's mechanics. Oh my god. This stuff. There's like certain aspects of the Dead Sea that are really unique. What the? Didn't occur to me. I should have known. I'm like, especially with this, I should have known when I saw this. That's the Dead Sea. Only in Israel. Sorry. I don't know. That's actually Israel. Is that Israel? I don't want to call it Israel. Pardon me, Palestinians. Is that place known as Israel? Pardon me, Israelis. I know that's maybe offensive. Hugs to all. How about that? Let's call it Hugs Land. Maybe we can just all agree to call it Hugs Land. The land of the hugs. And the Dead Sea. So also known by other names. Hebrew. Literally sea of salt. Da, 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 da. I don't know. Jordan to the east, the West Bank to the west. Lies on the Jordan Rift Valley, and it's Jordan Rift Valley. Okay, that makes sense, given it's really the Chakra Rift. Chakra Rift Valley. As of 2019, the lake's surface is 430 meters below sea level, making its shores the lowest land-based elevation on Earth. 430 meters below sea level. I can't believe I didn't go there. I was in Israel for 3 months. Sorry, Ephraim and Yehuda, Trent. Man, I don't know who all went then when I was there. Sorry, guys. Sorry, everyone. I don't know if you guys care about, but whatever. You know. They had lots of fun, and I was lame. I'm studying. I'm like... no. I got a revolution to start here. The things I'd walk away from, making its shores the lowest land-based elevation on Earth. It is 300 meters deep. The deepest hypersaline lake in the world. Salinity. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Let's find some more interesting, less just that. Thousands of years, one of the world's first health resorts. Dead Sea is receding at a swift rate. Surface area today is 605 kilometers, having been 1,050 kilometers in 1930. I wonder though if it vibrates like a gasket, like as it empties the pressure from like over here still. That's probably like water flowing through porosities underneath this and then coming up here, but then like something clogged it, but as it water drains, the pressure drops over here, so whatever's clogging it then can get pushed through. I know there's that material, that mud, Dead Sea mud or whatever, is I believe it's considered to be not to like be dropping and how frequently it's forming or being emitted. Like it literally like bubbles out of there somehow. Some interesting thing going on with that. The calc. In reference to the scarcity of aquatic life. Sea of Death. People just floating in it. I mean, I'm sure it's epic. Pardon me. I don't think it's Sea of Death for humans. I guess it does. It's probably. Hopefully, it's very healthy. I would like it to be healthy. That would be nice to find out there's something of that going on in the world. The biblical and modern Hebrew name for the lake is Sea of Salt. Okay. I'm gonna have to just look into this, I guess, some other time. I'm just not finding the more interesting. Maybe this. Potential treatment. The mineral content of the water, the low content of pollens and other allergens in the atmosphere, the reduced ultraviolet component of solar radiation. And the higher, what is it, like the salt is absorbing ultraviolet to just reduce the like density of ultraviolet air or light in the like location, almost like a cloud that like some pressure flowing out of the like through here and out of here is like pushing against this specific ultraviolet component of solar radiation. And the higher atmospheric pressure at this great depth each may have specific health effects. Higher atmospheric pressure at this great depth. Oh yeah, it is at depth, so maybe that's why. So effectively, yeah, maybe that's what's going on because it's deeper in the earth. It's just protecting, creating like an actual void of ultraviolet particles flowing through sufficiently. Like they can't get in to be detectable, for example. I don't know. Let's go to geology. I saw geology, didn't I? That... Two contending hypotheses about the origin of the low elevation of the Dead Sea. That the Dead Sea lies in a true rift zone, the older hypothesis, an extension of the Red Sea Rift, or even of the Great Rift Valley of Eastern Africa. How does that line up? We should probably pull up this more recent hypothesis is that the Dead Sea Basin is a consequence of a step over discontinuity along the Dead Sea Transform, creating an extension of the crust with consequent subsidence. The land, approximately 2 million years ago, according to radiometric dating, the land between the Rift Valley and the Mediterranean Sea rose to such an extent that the ocean could no longer flood the area. Thus, the long lagoon became a landlocked lake. The first prehistoric lake to follow the Saddam Lagoon is named Lake Amora. That's real fascinating. So we got this thing, and then this channel continues up to the Sea of Galilee with this, like, and then it continues still, really, maybe to this lake. If that's it might be a dam. That's probably a dam. So it's hard to say. Maybe up pretty much to there, and then maybe just out or up this way. Okay, let's do this. It might not have good detail for that scale, if any. If any. Huh. KKB. Huh. I don't know what to make of this off the top of my head. I wonder if that's anywhere else that I can quickly find. Just thinking that I carved that like chakras. I don't know. This looks like the beak and maybe an eye, if anything. Like if this is a bird head that has a neck here, similar to this, then it looks like the beak is this way. Maybe an eye there, generally around here. I was thinking this. Here. Yeah, probably that one. That one looks more large scale, still visibly. Or maybe even more so that head. I mean, if there's a bird here and the East African Rift, and it's facing, this one's facing this way, this one's facing, this current is going this way, the East African Rift current's going this way, so maybe this bird, this region in this bird head is suggestive that there's a current flowing this way, like, or at least like down here, down like underneath, and then getting to combine here. Let's see. I guess this way. I mean, there's certainly other currents present, so it's a little tricky to tell what's going on here. Like, there's definitely current going across this way, and there's definitely this going this. So I guess it's probably this current goes this way, and then it breaks off by this resistance from this current going over this way. But it goes up this way too, and it starts to interact with this current going this way, and it literally divides the current to make it go down this way. And then it interacts with it cross current here, making the East African Rift. But exactly how it does that, I kind of figured it just went like this way. Like generally here, along here, and maybe like part of it does. But maybe there's a secondary feed that like is here that goes down this way and just kind of joins it, adds material to it, and behaves like a wing to the bird head again. To the bird man. It's pretty much right here. This current goes this way, it goes up this way, but then it also divides through the very crown of the head, through the crown, through this way. And then flows here. Across this way. As like a starting to split, but as it turns, it seemingly goes this way. I don't know why the current would be flowing that way. It seems like a lot of current, unless it's, oh, there's this current coming this way, across at this boundary, here, this way pretty much. With this boundary, generally speaking, that flows, it wraps around here, but it also flows across here, like through this region, which this is in. So like if this is going across a current and this is going this way, their interactions maybe cause this current going this way to break into this current and this current. And this material fills in here, as well as influencing the current to be more out of sync, as well as this current flowing this way, and just basically leading to a channel down this way. Some of it goes this way, some of it goes this way, but then like stuff going across this way is just pushing out the boundary and forcing things around the boundaries to go basically this way or this way, with some nuance where it like gets in here and goes out here probably. And then it does probably go down here and join then. So through the beak, down this way, pretty much through the beak, although maybe also around it. Down this way though, to join the current that's just then maybe having this like spacer form in terms of the regions that have which shapes underneath them, like why it shapes the way it, and why it ends up having the shape it ends up having. Like this is very reminiscent of like the gasket over here. That's kind of just like a spacer between the mantle puncture hole and this inflowing current that then has a barrier here, but then a spacer. Kind of reminds me of it. I mean, it's certainly different in some ways, and it also has features to it that are interesting. Another pointy thing going on, pointy thing. Especially here, this one's from the current going this way and this way, I guess, pretty much shaping these sides. It's pretty interesting the way this side is. If there's a current flowing across from here, that's literally etching in here. Oh my god, it did. It totally did. Oh my god, it flowed across here. When Dwarka was attacked by a vortex weapon, I know. Which was here, Dwarka was here. A vortex weapon attacked Dwarka, and this storm moved over here that was created. A vortex storm that then put ether energy into the earth, which is basically space itself, the particles of which space is composed of that occupy the space and like keep things apart by its occupation of the space, was then brought into the earth itself through a conduit channel of this vortex storm that went into through the mantle puncture hole. But then the storm sat here for a while, and then it ended up moving over here and then down here, and in this region it shaped this tortoise thing, which is the slow phase of the storm, and then the rapid phase was while it was here to here. But I was just thinking maybe while it's here, it's creating this chakra thing, but like it's going out somewhere. Maybe this flow was much more proximal to here at the time, and this flowed and then just like no longer influence the surface of the earth, relatively speaking. Like it pressed into boundaries, or at least like encouraged forces. It's like probably not basalt, like something's changing where there's some material change, but like the forces are there that are coming from this direction across through here, like from here across this region and then through here. Wait, that's going into it. Maybe like as it happens, I guess, as the Arabian Sea opens and the Indian Ocean opens, it provides like something to be heated. The water then is like caused by the heat over here to basically move away from the heat, but also away from like the currents flow that's still going that way, and maybe encourage like water to flow with it. It's a heat exchange as like it boiled away and then new water rushed in, and it just kept rushing in, creating just more physical flow of current and like heat exchange, pretty much heat, increasing the heat exchange of it all, and then flowing in and etching that side over here, so that it was just more water-based etching than like basalt. This is like a straight Deccan trap stuff going on over here, so for it to not have Deccan traps over here while influencing it is a little odd, but that is probably why, is because it's more water-based. But a result of the heat flow and of the undercurrent, but like inducing water-based currents to heat exchange out pretty much through the water to space by just boiling the water off, and then it takes the heat up and rains down the cold. Alright, I'm done, and I'm calling this two birds, one stone.